Welcome to Love Your Self-Care. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I am so excited about this episode. I am hopefully starting this series. It's going to be called Between Two Friends, and I'm inviting women that I know, and we're going to be talking about different things that this channel is all about: self-care, self-love, self-preservation, how we treat ourselves. Well, in this particular episode, we're talking about health, women's health, and in particular fibroids, because this is something that is affecting our community, the community of women, specifically Black women. So, with no further ado, I think that's what they say. I think they say no further ado. So with no further ado, I am inviting my friend Ingrid Guzman, Ingrid Seraphin Guzman, as her title will say, into the room. She is not only my friend, she is just a lovely, wonderful human being who has guided me so much in my LA journey, has always given me great advice. She's just someone who exudes divine femininity, and she just has a lot of wisdom to impart. And I just enjoy her. And I think I can see her face right now. She's like, me, yes, you. Come on, Ingrid, come on up to the stage and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hello. I'm here for my friend Kelly, Between Two Friends. This is so live. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a thank you. So I appreciate you're my first guest on my on here. Why is my stock? I was like trying to get this right. You know, I'm new to this office thing, so I have to get the camera right. But you're my first guest here, and I'm gonna switch this up. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, not a little bit, a lot of bit. We want to get into fibroids. A lot of people may know maybe no one knows, I had fibroids before. I found out during the pandemic. I just went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Why is your stomach so hard?" And I was like, "I don't know." And basically, she was like, "You should get that checked out." I really was. I don't know. I was just so used to having a gut. I'm small, but I was like, I thought I was just skinny fat. But no, it was fibroids, and I just thought my stomach was supposed to be that hard. And when I found out I had fibroids, I was talking to a lot of different people, and I had different friends who had actually had fibroids. And a lot of them guided me through the process of what it was. And one of those friends was Ingrid, and she was just someone who imparted her wisdom to me, let me know a lot of what she was going through, different tips that she had, and I really appreciate it on this journey. And that's kind of what this episode is about for any women who is facing fibroids. It's come joining a conversation of friends and knowing, oh, that happened to me too. What can I learn from this? Oh, it's just feeling heard, a sense of community, and like what you can do to counteract those damn fibroids. Okay, so Ingrid, may I ask, how did you first become aware that you had fibroids?
So, first of all, I want to say I love your hat, Kelly.
Thank you. I wore it just for you.
You serve it with the hat, Kelly. You serve it. That's my friend. I love it.
It's because the hair ain't serving. That's why I had to serve with something. I watched it today.
I'll take it because I love it. It's so Kelly. That hat is so Kelly. I became aware of the fibroids in my second year of law school. So I was on a horrible diet at the time, eating everything I could find. 5-hour energy drinks were like water to me. It was a problem. It was a real problem. So I knew I wasn't eating well, and I knew my diet was off, but I would feel this like incredible emptiness in my stomach. I couldn't describe it. So I knew something was wrong. And it wasn't just hunger. It felt like a pit was opening up in my stomach.
Okay.
So I go back to Florida on like a break because I'm from Florida. I was going to law school in Michigan. I go back to Florida and I told my mom, like, I need to go see a gyno because at the time, health insurance wasn't something I had. So she takes me to the doctor, and they identified 3 fibroids in my uterus. They were peduncle. 2 were pedunculated, which I don't know if Kelly's going to give you the breakdown of what it means and what type of fibroid someone can have.
No, I've heard of that term, but I don't know what it means.
So pedunculated,
it's like inside means, your uterus.
No, it's like when you have a little stem and it's coming out and it makes its own ball outside. It's just connected by a little stalk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had 2 of those. and one that was like in the cavity. So the gyno, which was an African American woman in St. Petersburg, Florida, she said, "Oh, it's common. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about. Just keep an eye out on it." And I didn't like that answer. And I told my mom I didn't like that answer. And my mom proceeded to tell me all these people, "Oh, such and such has fibroids, she's fine. Such and such has fibroids, she's fine. Such and such has fibroids, she's fine." I mean, she went through like 6 people. "Oh, such and such has fibroids." And I'm like, fine. Are they really fine? There's things growing in their body. I don't think that makes sense. So fast forward another year, I go back to the doctor and I have 6 now. And then a year after that, I had 9. So the fact they were multiplying and multiplying quickly was an alarm for me. It didn't seem like it was an alarm for any other doctors I went to that were doing the ultrasounds and that were. So I realized quickly I was going to have to start advocating for myself when people kept giving me the, "Oh, it's nothing. It's fine. People have it. They're okay. People still have kids. They're okay." And I also understood that it was going to be a challenge to get people to take them out for me. So I went to Florida. I went to like 3 or 4 doctors there, and they said they couldn't remove it unless they removed my whole uterus. So I was like, "No, it's not gonna work."
Why is it because they were pedunculated? I'm sorry, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. Is that because I were pedunculated? What was pedunculated?
It was
Is that
because
of the way they were situated, where they were situated?
No, I think it was just the way that medicine handled people with fibroids. I don't think they were willing to do the investigation to see even what type of fibroids they were. I didn't find out specifically what type until, because remember at the beginning, I only had 3. So as they were multiplying and the doctors I kept going to, none of them would do like a 3D ultrasound. It wasn't until I went to Planned Parenthood in California, and I told the woman
that for you.
Yes. And in California, the Planned Parenthood nurse there told me that she wanted to sign me up for a particular program at USC. And in that program, part of what was required before they would do the surgery was that I get a 3D ultrasound. And I remember the day I got this ultrasound, Kelly, because they give you the results that same day. I walked out and started breaking down crying because I finally had a visual of how horrible I felt. To actually see what my stomach looked like. I could see, just how much it had overtaken my stomach, my abdomen area, because you feel something, you feel heavy, you feel bloated, you feel this uncomfortable thing all the time. I could even eat certain things and feel like it pulsing a little bit. Like it was horrible. So to see a visual.
Yeah, the pulsing. Yeah.
When you
it's
see a visual,
weird. The pulsing is weird. It's like it feels like it has its own heartbeat.
It
was yeah.
So at the time,
like it's living.
Right
it's like something. Surgery, it's a parasite, basically.
It is. It really is. It really is. And it was very difficult to see the visualization. Once I saw the visualization, it was almost like I had proof now that I'm not crazy, that this is not something that's just in my head, like that was a visual of it. Because ultrasounds were kind of grainy and they were like, "Oh, we feel something, but it's okay, it'll be fine." But when you have that 3D ultrasound, you can see exactly what's going on, and it was disturbing. So then right after that, I had my first myomectomy, and the myomectomy removed 6 fibroids. Actually, I have to find the pictures for you, Kelly. I forgot exactly how many there were, but there were a lot. There were 12. And one of them was very long and almost looked like a baby.
Wow.
The way it was shaped, it was disturbing because, this is the part I forgot to tell you, Kelly.
Do tell.
Okay, so I had an encounter. I had an encounter in law school that made me freak out and made me think that I could have been pregnant. And I ended up taking Plan B like twice in 1 month. And I really do think that Plan B turned into that fibroid. I don't know how to describe it. It's just what my gut tells me. it tells me that like
Okay.
instead of it, growing
Okay.
into a fetus, it grew into these
Mhm.
large masses. Because that's what the uterus is for. The uterus
Okay.
is to grow a fetus or grow tissue. So it grew tissue, it just didn't make a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what my gut tells
Interesting.
me.
Yeah.
Because when you
That's
see the photo, hmm, what's that?
I said that's interesting. I was saying that's interesting. One thing that I thought was just this is just because I've had surgery as well. My they kept the fibroids the same size because my surgeon he just cut all the fibroids and just like dumped them on the table and like weighed them. But they cut each fibroid out so you saw the shape of each one. Interesting.
Because I was cut vertically.
Oh,
So my
vertically.
first,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so they cut
Okay.
me
Yeah.
from like the belly button straight down. So they took
Mhm.
out everything um, whole in whole pieces.
Mhm.
Versus with
Yes.
yours, I think it was like laparoscopic, right? They did the small incisions
Yeah. The
and sucked
small
it out.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. Yes. I think I have a question, kind of backtracking a little bit. When you saw the 3D visual of the fibroids,
Mhm.
how do you think? Did you change? Did you change any daily habits, like about yourself? Because did you do any research before you got the surgery?
That's the most difficult part about fibroids is because you don't know what to believe. Doctors are saying, don't worry about it. It's normal.
Mhm.
It's not a problem. Let's do a hysterectomy. Let's do this. Let's do that. But you can tell that doesn't feel right. And then you're also researching maybe holistic routes. And holistic routes are do the tea, cut out meat, cut out this, cut out that, cut out sugar. So it almost becomes difficult to know what to believe. Like, what is really going to work for me? Do I listen to Western medicine? Do I listen to Eastern medicine? Do I just drink, eat broccoli and carrots every day? Like, what do I do to make sure they're not growing?
I got
So I,
hungry. You get-
yeah, you go through a
yeah.
roller coaster. You go through the roller coaster of, oh, it's fine. That's what doctors say, you know? And then you go through the, oh, but this
Mm.
person
Yes.
reduced
Oh
their
my gosh.
fibroids to the T.
Mhm. Yeah.
And this person did this and it may have worked for them. And I do feel like when I drink
Mhm.
too much sugar, it causes them to, so it becomes a mind game and it's very, very
Mhm.
difficult. And I don't think it was until after my second myomectomy that I really realized I have a lifelong condition. I don't have something that's
Mm.
going to be cured. I don't have something, unfortunately, that's going to be fixed. I have a lifelong condition because they have come back since my first myomectomy. They came back. My second myomectomy, I'm hoping they don't, but there's a very good chance they might come back. So this is something that I'm not going to fool myself into thinking there's a quick fix. This is a lifelong condition, and I have to approach it that way. Am I going to change a lifestyle to beat this lifelong condition? Or am I going to try to find quick
Mhm.
solves of, because they've even had pills now for fibroids, Kelly. You saw that?
I think maybe not. I know they advertise. Well, one, I'm going to answer that. One, this is the first time I've ever heard someone describe fibroids as a lifelong condition, and that I was like, oh my gosh, it is. Yes, that struck a chord with me so long. It's like okay, because I do have I guess a type of anxiety, a concern. I'll say a concern that they may show up, and that's because oh, it's a lifelong condition that I go through, so I take the necessary steps, or what I feel will be the necessary steps. But going back to your question, I may have seen that or not because on YouTube sometimes they'll show me like different medicines for fibroids. Obviously, because I've looked it up, I've had it. They Big Brothers on everything, so I may have seen that. I know they have medications for fibroids. I don't know. It might be pills, but I have seen like different medications for fibroids that are now that I didn't see 2-3 years ago.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
interesting.
It is. It is. Things have come a long way. The conversations, everything. And this
Yeah.
was what my first myomectomy was 2015
Hmm.
ish. Yeah, early 2015. So things have come a long way. I would like to hear more about the people who have tried the medicine. I don't know too many people who have. Most of the
Okay.
people I
Yeah.
know have done more Eastern remedies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know people who have done Eastern remedies that worked?
you're breaking up a
Personally,
little
do you know
bit.
anyone who
Okay.
have done Eastern remedies? Do you know anyone who has? Do you personally know anyone who has done Eastern remedies that has worked for them? Can you
I
hear me now?
I've heard of people who have relieved their symptoms because of Eastern medicine. And I will
I
tell
release.
you that one of the things I really enjoy or I like a lot is Moxibustion. Have you heard that one?
No, is that a medicine or is that a pharmaceutical medicine or is that a herb?
No, it's almost used more with acupuncture. So it's a incense. It's a long incense, and you light it and heat it and put it kind of near your skin in circles, and you can feel the warmth. Because what they don't tell you about these surgeries is that your scar tissue will start to grow, and the scar tissue is dead skin, dead areas. So someone like me who's trying to conceive, I have a lot of scar tissue, and that scar tissue is very cold. I don't have a warm uterus. I have too many cuts and slits in my
Mm,
uterus for it to be a typical normal uterus. So with all that scar tissue, I have to constantly
mm.
warm my body up in an attempt to conceive and like keep a fertile area for myself. Because that's the thing that people don't realize. Like, okay, you get a surgery, but you don't realize that you're actually creating scar tissue in your body sometimes, and that scar tissue can prevent, you know, fertility later on.
That's yeah, I've never heard. Thank you for saying that. And when you said scar tissue, you mean scar tissue inside your body. I'm thinking of just the scar above. I'm like, oh wow, it's growing. But you mean inside your body? Oh, that I'd never. That's something I would never think of. So
Right, right.
yeah,
You don't
I'm
think
gonna
about
look
it.
at what's the name. I'm gonna at all. I'm like, but that makes so much sense. You want to create a home.
Hmm.
Repeat that for me, and I'll look it up, and I'll try to see if I can put it on the screen so we can have, and I'll
Yeah,
put it on
it's
the
called
comments and everything.
Moxibustion. I have to get the exact pronunciation for you. Moxibustion. It's a
Yes,
Chinese medicine
yes, send it to me.
that's used with acupuncture.
Hmm.
And I get it from a person. Her website is Wisdom of the Womb, and she
Okay.
offers a lot of
What's
tools for people. That's where I get the moxa sticks from, and she offers it for people who are trying to conceive. It's one of the ways to warm up your uterus. It's one of the ways to fight fibroids. She teaches you how to like use the smoke to penetrate the fibroids and break them up. So that's one thing I
wow?
really enjoy. You can feel the warmth. It's really nice. Like really,
This
yeah,
this
it's really really nice.
this
It's
sounds like you are loving your self care.
It is. It is a form of self
Yeah.
care. Yeah, because you have
Mhm.
to be very careful with it. It's very hot, so you
Mm,
can't
okay.
go too fast, burn yourself. I have done that. So it's like a slow process of like working around, you know, certain parts of your body, almost like what sage would do. You know how with
Yeah,
sage you
it feels
kind of use
very
it to
energetically
clean.
spiritual.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think you'll really like the
Clearing energy.
matcha.
So not only you warming your body. I do. It sounds like right up my speed. I'm
It
like, oh,
is.
it's like
I
it's
think you
like
like
Palo
it.
Santo for the body.
I think you'll like it. I
I
think
would
you'll
because
like
I
it.
feel like it would just clear out energy and warm your body and create a whole home. Yeah, and you feel better. How do you feel afterwards? Like spiritually,
The
like
heat,
your internals just feel.
you'd be surprised how long the heat can last. Like I was very surprised. I
Mm.
run cold and I never knew that I was running cold and how it could affect my fertility. But like right now I have a heater on my feet because I'm always cold.
Mm.
So you'd be surprised how long that heat can last. Like we're doing it for maybe 10, 15 minutes. You walk away, you go do other things, but
Mhm.
internally you can still feel the heat. Yeah, it's very nice. I can't wait for you to try it, Kelly. Tell me what you think.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to conceive though, so but like,
Honestly,
but if
it's
it's
not
like
just for
energetically and
conception.
spiritually,
It's for
okay,
fibroids as well. She specifically says that it's for fibroids. It's
okay,
for
great,
um,
great.
what are the things called cysts? It
Oh
helps with
yes,
cysts,
sis, what probably
fibroids.
endometriosis.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, endometriosis is
So
a
it's
beast.
very helpful for other things too. And funny enough,
Mm.
the sad part with female reproductive things, it's the
Mhm.
last. Um, in hospitals, it's one of the last types of care that they focus on. So, for example, if you go to a hospital, I know because my sister works in a emergency care place. So, if you go to a hospital and you have a brain or heart problem, they will see you immediately. You will get a doctor immediately. If you go because of anything related to your reproductive system as a woman, it is one of the last things that a gynecologist, like their priority order, it's one of the last things on their priority order. Where your hospital is full of women, of nurses. But when they come and say this is a problem, the hospital will take that as last priority. It's very difficult to get a gynecologist to come and check the woman out in an emergency situation and in emergency room hospital. So that shows you
so
how
much. You are a wealth of information.
that shows you how Western medicine.
And like, let's be honest. Don't let it be a Black woman coming up in there too. So
yes,
on top of
that's
that,
a whole different thing. Yes.
On top of that,
yes.
Yeah.
So
like
I can put my bitterness on your show, Kelly.
No, it's okay. But we gotta love ourselves through that. That's why we take minoxidil. That's why I feel better.
I'm gonna find the right name for you.
That's why we do this. Aside from the maca, not the maca root, but the other stuff, the other things that you're going to, it's going to be on the bottom of the screen. What other lifestyle changes and alternative therapies do you use to help navigate this lifelong condition of fibroids?
There's a lot of therapy and communication. And almost any Black woman I know, I'm not afraid to have the conversation of how your cycle's looking. What's going on with you? You all right? Like I am more aware of other Black women in my life and what they may be going through silently. That if I didn't have fibroids, I don't think my radar would even be on it. But now I understand how so many Black women could be suffering in silence. So I am more tender with my sisters, like a lot more tender, a lot more loving, a lot more gracious to them. That's my self-care, because I just don't want their daughters to go through it. I don't want my people my age to go through it. I'm very sad about the older women who didn't even have options like a myomectomy. They just were told they had to have a hysterectomy, which is tragic. So that's my self-care. Talking about it, being sympathetic with other women about it. It fills my heart. Having this conversation with you right now, it fills my heart. Because Kelly, you were going to tell your story too, right? About how you were not.
Oh yeah, I can tell you.
Yes, you were not telling people about your cycles and how the symptoms were going. And you thought they were normal?
Oh, I thought it was so normal. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, my cycles were bad since I've had cycles. Like my first cycle wasn't like the first period ever was like easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. But right after that one, I was just excited to have it too. I felt like I was late. I started my cycles when I was 12, about to be 13, like a month before my 13th birthday, and it felt like everybody had it, and I was just happy to get it. Right. I was like, oh my gosh, finally. But ever since that second cycle, it's always been, because I got it from my mother too. Like, so my mother had really bad cycles and she kind of prepped me for it. If I didn't take anything, any Midol or CVS version of Midol, I usually got the CVS version of Midol. I'm good with counterfeit. But if I didn't take anything for that, and it wasn't, I couldn't do like Tylenol or ibuprofen. It had to be Midol. Or the counterfeit version of Midol, I would definitely get cramps. The cramps would turn into me throwing up, and the throwing up would lead to my face breaking out. Like I would like have breakouts. Sometimes, like that was guaranteed. Those three were guaranteed to happen. I'd be curled over. I'd have a trash can by my bed. My mom prepped me for that. She was like, just keep a trash can by your bed. Sometimes if I had really, really bad cycles, I would have the hot flashes and chills too. So I remember like as a teenager, like the coldness of the tile on the bathroom floor, I lay on that. So I'll be having hot flashes and chills. I'll be right near the toilet so I can throw up. And like, but I'll be sweating and then chills than trying to keep cool on the tile.
Mm.
And I wouldn't feel better until I threw up. I had to throw up. And let's not even, like, if we're all women here, we're just going to be honest. You definitely have the diarrhea because you knew it was like you felt better once the came out. I'm sorry, it's a lot, but it was all
Wow.
of that happened. And I tell
Wow.
you, I thought it was normal. I know everybody didn't have cycles like that, but it was a lot of people did. A lot of women had cramps, and my mom had really bad cycles. She was like, "Oh, my cycles. Once I had you, my cycles subsided." And I was like, "Okay, I just gotta wait to have kids until it gets better."
Interesting. Oh, wow.
If I took, yeah, if I took it, yeah, it was like before she was like, "Oh, yeah." If once she had me, she was like, she would still not feel good and still be very drowsy and out of it, but she wouldn't have like
Right.
all that I went through. If I took
Hmm.
Midol before, I'd be good and I'd be a working human being, but I'd still feel the heaviness of having a
Hmm.
cycle. I wouldn't
Hmm.
throw up. I wouldn't really have cramps, but I wouldn't feel like a human being. I would just be
Right.
getting through the day, kind of like a zombie. Um, and it wasn't when I found out I had fibroids, like for sure, after the doctor was like, "What's this?" And I got was it a CAT scan? Yeah, I think it was a CAT scan. I got the CAT scan and I saw, she was like, "Damn, this is pretty big." And I wanted to heal it naturally. She was like, "You have to get surgery." I was like, "No, let me see if I can heal it naturally." And I went and did different research. They were saying change your diet. And so I went raw vegan for the first 12 days of me finding out that I had fibroids after that results of the CAT scan. And I was taking
Right.
different herbs from like recommended places, and I would do my tea time 3 times a day, like different herbal teas and
Right.
different herbs and stuff. And the first, like as I was getting the all the my changing my diet and the herbs, my first cycle after that, it wasn't that bad. I didn't have cramps because they remember we were on that call. It was the Detox Now people, and
Yeah.
they were she was like, "Don't take any." I was because we were changing. I was changing my diet, and she was like,
Hmm.
"Don't take any Midol." I was like, "What?
Right.
No." She's like, "Don't take any Midol." I was like, "That's when I think you found out I had really bad
Yeah.
cramps."
Yeah. I didn't know that.
And so I was like, I was really scared to not take Midol that time. And
Hmm.
so within that first month of me changing my diet, I didn't last raw vegan for the full month, but I stayed vegan. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
so the first month post diet change, I felt better. I don't think I had cramps. I don't think I had cramps that month. I felt a lot better, but it wasn't great. The second month after going vegan and changing my whole diet up, I felt like a human being. You couldn't tell me that I was on my period. I had so much energy. I was so light and
Right.
bright and lively. And that's when I knew there was something to this diet thing that people aren't telling us. And to piggyback off of something that you said earlier, I had a crazy diet. Back, I guess now looking back, it was kind of crazy. But when you said 5 hour energies, I think that's when my fibroids grew the most because I was downing just to stay up. Not that I was like actually
Yeah.
doing anything. I
Yeah.
will take pre-workouts just to, I wasn't even working out. I was just trying to I first started on my pre-workouts for a workout, but then I just used them to like not be drowsy during the day. So I took them as caffeine
Oh,
and
okay.
5 hour energies. I would take a half a 5 hour energy a day. And I think the up caffeine levels, that's where my fibroids
Yeah.
actually started growing kind of crazy. So I feel like there is a
Right.
correlation between heavy caffeine and fibroid growth. So
Yeah.
ladies, look out for that. Pay very important attention to your diet. Pay a lot of attention. Yes.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yes, thank you. Yeah, it was being very intentional with your diet. That
Hmm.
was,
Hmm.
whew. Then I ended up getting the surgery and still got to look out for it because it's a lifelong condition. Like, oh,
It
backtracking and slipping.
it is.
It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
And no one's
Mm-hmm.
telling us
But
that.
yeah,
Like,
so
Western medicine is quick to put it off as we fixed it now. And in reality, it's a holistic thing going on. Like, it's not a quick fix. So sad.
that and because I went to the gyno, it was like when I suggest my opinions or like my questions to the gyno, because I just went to the gyno last month, and she was like, "Oh, da 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 da." It's just like everything's so normal. Da 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 da. Some stuff I feel like that feels good to know that that's normal. but I'm like, can I trust it? Because I'm like, well, shouldn't I just want to check my fibroids, check to see if any fibroids have come back or anything. Can I get this? Can I get an ultrasound just to check my body? Like, you don't need to. You just had it. I
What'd
don't
she
feel
say?
anything. But
She said no.
well, no, she didn't say no. I can still get it. But she wasn't like, but I had to advocate for myself. Like they don't want to go through the extra steps because it's a whole long story. But just me being not following up like I should. But because I had input in like a year ago and I let it lapse and I was trying to get another one. And so I was like, can I get another one? She was like, you really don't need one. But I was like, since she already had one, I'll push it through. But I feel like you have to advocate for yourself to get it done. They don't want to check up on it. They're like, oh, I don't feel anything. I don't see anything. So it must not be there. Lots of women have fibroids. Don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do about it. I refuse to believe there's nothing that we can do about it. Just off the simple fact of my whole cycle and life changed from my cycle by me changing my diet. You can't tell me that's not related to fibroids and the growth of fibroids. Like we can change something. Don't listen to the doctors. They don't know everything.
I agree. It's really a matter of listening to your body.
Self-care for me is yes. I think showing myself love is by changing my diet. Is like, yeah, I eat some sugar here and there. Okay, I might do it, but like changing my diet has really been a form of self-love and self-care for me because eating the dairy, because I never thought I wasn't lactose intolerant, but obviously I am if I feel like dairy is contributing to a way of making me not feel good every single month, like eating other animal hormones. And not saying that anybody else has to not do it, but I just know listening to my body, I cannot do that. It's a form of self-care for me to eat a particular diet and to stay away from different meats, and sugar's hard for me to give up. I'm just being honest.
Okay. It's hard for everyone. It's not hard. It's hard for everyone.
I'm not alone.
You are not. It is hard for everyone, especially for me because food has been a coping mechanism for me. I didn't realize this until probably 2 years ago-ish, that it was a form of dealing with loneliness. And so having to choose between my coping mechanism and my health is always a problem for me. I'm always at conflict, and I still haven't quite found that balance between what could be a better coping mechanism besides food. But it's a real battle. It's not easy at all. So I commend you, Kelly, because Kelly said, I put my health first, and she stuck to it, and she became vegan. And how long you been vegan, Kelly?
I'm not truly vegan. I'm pesca vegan. I still eat like fish and seafood.
Better than me. So how long you been pesca vegan, Kelly?
Since I guess it'll be 3 years. Yeah, it's been 3 years now. Not to say I haven't had a piece of chicken. I may have like a piece of chicken once every 1 or 2 times a year. Thanksgiving.
Give my friend credit. Stop trying to not give her credit. Give my friend credit for what she has done.
I had a good old ham with that Hawaiian roll. It was so good. I ate it. I was like, it was
my friend credit for being in LA where good food is everywhere.
It was my last meal. I was like,
give my friend her just credit, okay? She's sticking to it. She's sticking to it hard. Choosing good health.
I am sticking to it hard. I had no ice cream. I'm choosing better health. Good old vegan restaurants. We got to go to some more vegan restaurants. That last one was so good. I was like, I can't do no braggy sushi after that. That was some good faux sushi.
It was good. It really
so
was.
That's one way I show myself. Yeah, go to Nico Nushi if you were in LA. It is, I want to say, vegan sushi. I won't call it faux sushi. It's vegan sushi, and it's really good. And Leo was our server. He's so nice and sweet. Shout out to Leo. I'm trying to think. Do you see a connection? Have you seen a connection between your spiritual health and your physical health?
I mean, there's no way not to see it when you lay on a table and you put your life in someone else's hand and tell them like, knock me out and cut me open. and having to do it twice. I mean, I've had 2 myomectomies, and there's no way you don't have the moment where you tell God, look, all right, I'm in your hands. If you're trying to,
that's me on a plane
sure.
when that turbulence hit. When that turbulence hit, God, giving up.
God, okay, look, what you trying to do here? So, I mean, in those moments, it's a moment of surrender. It really is when you have to. I mean, I remember calling my dad. I remember calling my now husband. At the time, we weren't talking, but I was like, "Look, I'm going into surgery." I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's love, y'all.
Yeah, you start calling people like, "Look."
I don't know the next time I'm gonna see you again, but I don't know the next time I'm gonna see you again, but though I don't want to lead a search without me telling you what it is.
Without saying I love you.
What was your second surgery?
My second surgery was
what was your second surgery?
2021. So it was fairly recent.
So 6 years. It took 6 years. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It was right there. Damn, that time flies. Yeah, that was just right then. 22. That was just 2021.
Oh. It should be 2021.
Yeah, it's today 2023. I'm looking. I'm like,
when was yours, Kelly?
Mine was 2021. It's been 2 years. August 2021.
Oh, so you were 2021. So I must have been 2022 then.
Yeah, I think you were 2022.
You referred me. Your doctor. You referred me to that clinic. Mm-hmm. So I must have been 2022.
It wasn't no clinic. It was Cedars-Sinai. It was top of the line.
You referred me to the doctor.
The best surgeon that you can.
Yes, they are. My sister had to come from Florida and come to this doctor to have her surgery because in Florida they were going to just take her. They were just going to do a hysterectomy. So thank God she came to my doctor. Wow. And she had her myomectomy a month after mine. So unfortunately, it has run in my family.
I feel like it runs in so many people's. It's like I don't even want to put everybody, like, think about every woman in my family. Dang it, every woman in my family has it. But I think rewinding back to kind of what you said, how that all, like, I recommended you to the facility, the doctor, the surgeons that you saw, and you recommended to your sister. And that's because I found out about that surgeon through another friend who had an emergency myomectomy. She told me that's the best. So I think kind of what you were saying about communication and opening the airways to different the pathways of communication between different women, how important that is, because so many of us are suffering from this. And the more we talk about it, the more we can help each other and like get the best services available and see the best people available. So that's another benefit of communication. The more we talk about it, the more open we about it, the more we can save our health, save our female parts, the more we open about it. I think that's very important. I was about to say something. I forgot what I was going to say. I
have a question for you, Kelly.
Yes.
Do you feel like you are more your sister's keeper now, having had fibroids and knowing that it disproportionately affects more African-American women than any other female population?
I never thought about it like that, but I guess I have kind of taken on that. When someone asked me because I was very vocal about my surgery after I had it, I did a Instagram and a TikTok post that kind of, it didn't go viral, but it had like 15,000 views on it. Yeah, I was low-key
viral. Not really, Kelly. Look, don't talk about my friend.
Viral is like 800,000, 300,000. It's mini viral. It's like it had views. I was like, I ain't never had this many views. I ain't got any friends on TikTok. I am a grown woman. I am not a teenager. How do people look at my TikTok? But because I guess fibroids are a very big thing. Like it's a very niche topic or niche topic. So I had it got a lot of views on TikTok and it got quite a few views on Instagram as well. So and it was reposted by We Can Wear White Instagram. And I would have different people actually contacting me via DMs about surgeries. And like, I remember one woman I didn't even know, she was so sweet. She was contacting me about her surgery, updating me about her surgery and all that.
Oh,
And
that's
so it was just
awesome.
like, and I know, and it was just, there is a sisterhood and a connection. Anyone who asks for tips or like what services I use, who I look to for holistic recipes, I would direct them what my symptoms were, what had worked for me. Yeah, I'm very open in sharing. And or just people that I've run across who've seen my profile, I'm like, yeah, I had this too. I've had different conversations, and I've learned so much from other women by hearing their stories. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, I can take this information. Maybe I want to get my eggs frozen. That's what happens to you. Okay, noted. Oh, and eggs freezing is a whole different thing where noted, I learned from someone your estrogen levels, because fibroids come through a increased estrogen levels basically, and that's why the food that we eat is very important. um, Egg freezing, you're upping your estrogen levels to produce more eggs. So fibroids are more likely to occur after you freeze your eggs. I learned that from someone who that happened to. Side note, but yes, I never thought about it that way. That I have stepped into this role, this very small role of being my sister's keeper with having this. And like you say, if I didn't have it, never had it, I would have never thought about it. That like it wouldn't have been on my radar. But that's how anything is. If we don't have it, it's not really on our radar. But yeah, it really, I want to see us conquer this. I don't want to see us all help and just be our healthiest, happiest, most beautiful
That's
versions of
right.
ourselves. So yeah. Yes. Thank you for that
And
question. She
did
is so good.
your
Look at her. Oh my gosh, she always like,
I'm
what you say?
co-podcaster, okay? I'm co-hoster.
Oh
I
my,
was gonna say
just
because
come on, join the Love Your Self Care team.
look, because see, okay.
The team is
So
just me. Which,
another question here,
okay.
shameless plug for my friend Kelly. So, would you say that your fibroid journey contributed to the growth and the evolution of things like your business, love your self care, like your sweaters and the things that you were doing in your financial business entrepreneurial world? Do you think it filtered and motivated that?
It filtered, it is filtering a little bit more. It filtered my self-care and self-love journey. I am very intentional about honoring myself and choosing to take care of myself. And like I said, food is a way of me. My diet is a way that I choose self-love and self-care. I had a spa day yesterday. It was the kickoff of
Yeah.
my birthday week. But just really embracing this relaxation feeling. And started studying more about like divine femininity and chakra systems and trying to get into my spiritual awakening too. It coincided, me learning that I have fibroids coincided with the spiritual journey that I was already having. And I learned that this blockages that I have like in my sacral chakra with expressing myself in different feelings is was tied to my fibroids. So I think that's a way how that's how I saw a
Interesting.
connection between my spiritual health and my physical health. Bears the sacral
Okay.
chakra is about feeling, expression, sensuality, and I was very
Wow.
blocked. I have been very blocked in my life with that, and I think that was the fibroids were a side effect of that. And learning to
Mm.
embrace that and express more and be more creative
Mhm.
and however that comes out in businesses and art
Mhm.
and as in creating, that has like it has fueled me in that way and taking care of myself. Yeah, it has filtered over into anything. So I'm grateful for the journey in having it. And
Mhm.
it was because it's not, fibroids isn't just a physical issue. It's something
Mhm.
internal as well. That's what a lot of holistic people, I remember one of the holistic teachers, I guess teachers were saying too, it's a lot of stress. It can be caused by stress as well.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
chemical, spiritual balance as well that manifest in our womb, that
Mhm.
manifest in that
Mhm.
area. So where are we imbalanced in that area? Yeah, and that's so interesting. It happens to so many women, but in particularly it happens
Black
to
woman.
Black women. And what is
Hmm.
that? It's so interesting. What is that about?
Hmm.
I mean, it happens to all women, and disproportionately, it just affects, maybe, I think, I haven't seen the reports, but maybe 60% of white women, and
Mhm.
then maybe
Mhm.
80% Black women. Last time I checked, I can't know the numbers, but it's an epidemic, but like, why is it affecting us? What's going on in our community where we're so imbalanced with that?
I've heard a theory that I vibrate with, that says that on a micro level, things are showing up like fibroids for Black women. But on a macro level, if you look at our female journey, we have swung the pendulum from being more domestic, having responsibilities that were more home centered, to trying to overcompensate and prove to society that we can do more than just be domestic. And with that
Mm-hmm.
swing to say, hey, I can do more than just cook, clean, take care of babies, we took on a little bit, maybe more than we could chew, and kind of went a little too far to say, I can cook, clean, and I can go to work, and I can be the boss, and I can do this, and I can do that. But we never quite let go of any of the responsibilities. We just kept adding more to the responsibilities, adding more to the plate, adding more to what we have to prove that we can do it all. So I think on the macro level, on the larger
Mm-hmm.
scale, there has been more responsibility put on the female in today's world than we had before. I think for especially for my mom, she really had a point to prove. My aunts had a point to prove, especially being, immigrants in America, that we are going to make as much as we can, in all
Mm-hmm.
ways. And it almost was like a shame at some point that all you were doing was cooking and cleaning, as if you were supposed to be doing a lot more. And there was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of pressure just put on the feminine to prove that, hey, we have a lot to offer. For a lot of reasons, it needed to be proved. But at the same time, I think a side effect of trying to prove that is that we now had a lot more pressure. I can tell you personally, I felt it was more
Mm-hmm.
important that I become financially independent than it was for me to have children and have a family. I felt that pressure since I was maybe 10, 11. Like I saw more
Mm-hmm.
of that pressure than I did to have kids. And then as I got older, now they wanted to add the pressure of, oh, by the way, you also have to have kids. Oh, you also have to keep your house clean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you also have to,
They
be
asking too
enticing
much
for a man
now.
that likes you.
Mm-mm.
Right. Right. And so if you put all that on the female feminine, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
destroy that feminine part. So like you were saying, you felt
Mm.
a blockage. I think my blockage, if I really had to unpack it, comes from feeling like that part's useless. What am I supposed to do with that? I need to go make money to support myself and use my intellect to support myself. So it was very brain centered, not body centered. And so
Mm.
I ignored my body and did things like drink 7 5-hour energies
Trying to get that change, chasing that money, just
and
the
chasing
5 hour
money and chasing
energy.
ambition and chasing this point
Mm-hmm.
that I am more than just a domestic woman. I think over a lot
Mm-hmm.
of our female culture has suffered a large a larger expectation, and felt trapped with it. I think the part of the fibroids, being specifically in that area is because it's almost like a trapped place that nobody's thinking of, right? Like nobody, I didn't know where my uterus was until I was
Mm.
about
Yeah, I
like
wasn't thinking
20.
about it. I knew where it was if you asked me, but I wasn't thinking about my uterus day in, day out. Like I don't see it as hitting. I'm like, hey, if you ain't having a baby, what you think about it for?
What you think about for? Exactly. And so unfortunately that is where the attack is happening, is in that part that
Mm.
that is deepest in us and kind of lost and hidden in us. But that's where it starts to grow. That's where the attack happens. In my mind, I'm calling it an attack because I did feel like my body was now not supporting me. It was creating this parasite almost in this
Mm.
very dark place in my body. So it did make me pay attention to the feminine part of me. It did make me pay attention to what did I want to be considered in my feminine world. Did I want to be considered a mother? Did I want to be? Was I going to be quick to just say, okay, take it? Was I
Mm.
going to fight for it?
Mm.
Like these were issues I had to really think about.
Wow.
Um, and that I didn't have help society or women to quite lean on to help me figure it out, it had to be me and God talking about it.
Yeah, that is a connection between your physical and
God
spiritual
talking
health.
about
Because I know if I know about Ingrid, she gonna do a sabbatical. She gonna get it right. She gonna talk to God and just go in her
me
secret
and God got
place,
talking about it. Me
and
and God
she
got
gonna
figure it out. Because
yes,
it would have
yes.
been easy to be like, okay, do the hysterectomy, take it out. I don't want to be in pain anymore. I'm done. So, and I think a lot of women choose that route. A lot of women
Yeah,
are
I
just
remember I
like,
had a conversation. A woman, it was the first woman I ever had a conversation with who was explaining to me her endometriosis. And the way she
mm,
explained it to me, I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
that's
Like there's tissue or so like grows outside of your body. She was like, she's in pain constant. She was like telling the doctor, I just want it out. That was just, she was like, get it out of me. And it's just like, wow. Like it was an attack on her. And it was like, wow. I was like, whoa, I can't. You just feel so helpless when you hear people speak like that.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it
Um,
feels, it feels, um,
so we're in our soft girl era now. Is that what you're trying to say? You're in your soft girl era? You're are you
I'm,
your
I'm sorry, I am in my sister era. Like I really do
sister era? What's that?
I take on being my sister's keeper way more than I ever have. I am very adamant
Mm,
about my friends who have daughters, letting them know to start checking early, what to say to doctors, what not to say, how to advocate for themselves. Don't just trust that everything's okay if you don't feel something right. And one of the advocating tools that I learned, Kelly, and I think I shared with you from other Black female doctors, they said
mm,
that most people don't realize that when you book a annual appointment with a doctor, they're going through a checklist. And that is their
oh, you
number
did.
one concern, is making it through the
Mm,
checklist. So if you have a concern, and not even if you have a concern, they advise that anyone who is booking an appointment to do an annual, that they also schedule a second appointment immediately after and allow
mm,
that appointment to just be a symptoms appointment
mm.
so that the doctor then can focus on connecting the dots of what could be going on with you. And that's time allocated specific because she's like, they're on a schedule. They got a checklist. They got to do the checklist. Like anything you try to take them off the checklist is this just not paying attention, is not that serious. But if they have that second
Yeah.
appointment where the whole point is to go through symptoms, go through what you could be going through and help you analyze what's going on with you, even if it's a slight little issue you don't think is something, could be something, and that's the time to discuss it. So they told me specifically, you need to make 2 appointments when you go. It's not just one annual, it's not just
Mm.
one physical. You have to specifically book a symptoms appointment so that they have the time to dive into what issues could be going on with you that you may not even realize is an issue. So that was really important because
Mm.
I still don't understand, Kelly, for the life of me, why we get pap smears and no one checks your uterus to see what's going on with the pap smear. All they have to do is do a quick swipe and do an ultrasound. That's an ultrasound should be part of every pap smear.
Do they have those in regular doctor's office though? I've never seen like an ultrasound in like my gyno's office because I just went to the gyno and they were saying now pap smears are only once every 5 years. They only have to be once
Which
every
is
5 years.
crazy. Which is
Okay.
crazy. Because
Mm-hmm.
the pap smear is only concerned about one issue. That's what they have the little checklist for. But there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with them. And this is something I'm going to take to be a personal mission of mine. There is no reason why, if you're going, let's say once every 5 years, they can't quickly do a vaginal ultrasound to see, are you producing eggs? Number one. Number two, are there
Mm-hmm.
any abnormal growths, fibroids, cysts, anything going on? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's something that would, by the time you feel the symptoms of it, it's probably too late.
Very true. Mm-hmm.
So if you can see the little formation starting, that is something I can take care of much quicker and much easier than by the time it's 3 pounds, 4 pounds, like my fibroids were.
I think that's about being a self advocate. I mean, not to sound defeatist, but doctors, they're all about like trying to check off. They're not into prevention like that. They're into what's happening and then diagnosing.
But if
Like,
you're already
okay,
there,
this
if I already got to come once every 5 years, I'm already here, y'all.
they
Like I'm
they
here.
don't care.
I'm here. I'm here. What
We
we,
here.
what we,
They got this.
I'm here. Look, look.
Okay, let's get another thing.
2 seconds. 2 seconds. It is in every gyno. They have the vaginal ultrasound thing. Go up in
They have an
there and go
ultrasound in
look.
the.
The vaginal
They should have
ultrasound,
it.
yes, they all have vaginal
Okay.
ultrasounds.
They don't
two
break it out.
seconds.
They don't be wanting to
Yeah,
break it
of
out.
course they're
I
not
didn't
gonna
even
break it
know it was
out.
there.
They don't want to break it out. It's right there. All they do is put a little condom thing on it. The same way they go in there looking for the pap smear is the same way they can just swipe left, swipe right. Tell me what you see. Come on. I
Hmm.
really do think
Yeah.
that's going to be one of the things I advocate for, and I will spend my whole life advocating for this. Even if it takes 3-4 generations, I that doesn't make sense for women to not
Yeah.
get checked for the basics, especially because not that I want to get into the fertility part, but for me being someone 40 years old, just understanding what it means to grow follicles and eggs,
Yeah.
that's sad. And to now realize that I have a low follicle count. That's something you could have told me when I was 19, 20, 20, whatever.
It'll
You
be
know?
useful. It's useful then. Like, tell me I had this short supply. Like, you could have been like, okay, let me make this money so I can get this real early, 25.
Thank you.
Like when I'm 25, let me
What
get
have
this
we
money.
been
I'm kind of law school. We
what have
get
we
your
been
man,
checking?
get the
Going
baby.
to
You
the
just think you
doctor.
have time.
You
Yeah.
think you have time,
Because I
but at
didn't
the
know
same
about that until, pardon me?
go
What were you
ahead,
saying?
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was saying it like knowing at 40 years old. I remember it wasn't until I found out that I had fibroids and I was about to get the surgery that I looked into a fertility treatment. I haven't gotten it, but that's when I learned the process. Now, when you say follicles and stuff, now I know the process of it. I didn't know it until I had surgery, right before I had surgery, because I was like focused on it then. But that is something that we should know ahead of time. It'd be good to know at 18. Like you hear little like, oh, you get less and less eggs, but you don't really know the process. And it's good
Right.
to kind of just know the process of your body. No one's teaching you this. Like they don't teach that in like health class when you're in middle school, high school.
And that makes me wonder why. Why not? Is it because the agenda was that women go to work and not like I don't that's what I'm saying. That society just wasn't paying attention to the fact that we are, birthing people, that we are reproducing, that we do have a function that is given to us at birth. We can't ignore it. I honestly
Yeah.
think a lot of these issues are nature trying to show us that you can't ignore this function of your body.
Mhm. Yeah.
Especially Black
Yeah.
women who, because of our ambition, sometimes will go full force into the working world. I think there's statistics out there that say that Black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurial group,
That
because
sounds
we'll
about
go
right.
at it. We will go at it, and sometimes at the expense of maybe taking care of ourselves, taking care of our body, and focusing on that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. So as you learn to go at it, what are some self-care and how do you show yourself love and be tender with yourself as you go so hard in the world? How are you soft with yourself? Like, what are your favorite activities and things to do? Like, when the world's hard on you and not showing you love, how do you love on yourself?
I'm a big journaler. I journal a lot. One of the favorite um, statements that I write often is I forgive myself. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive
Mm,
myself for the big, the small, the little, and the heavy things. I forgive myself for everything. Um, and the more you write it, the more sometimes you'll get that pushback. You'll get that voice in the back of your head. I'm not gonna forgive you for that. I start arguing with myself and go through the whole process. And eventually you get to the point where you're like, you know what? She's human. And you start talking about yourself in third person, Kelly. She's human. She is
human,
God's
human, she don't know no
child.
better.
She don't know no better. And she is God's child, and God is still working on her. Okay. And then
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my favorite thing to do, which I don't think I've ever told you, Kelly. I will pull up a Maya Angelou speech so quick. Something about Maya Angelou makes me feel like she's telling me specifically, baby, it's okay. So I
Oh,
love my Angelou. Um, I love journaling. I love some Ilyana Van Sant. Those
wait.
people who,
No,
in my mind,
that's everything. I said, not on my watch.
I was. I feel like
You
Ilyana
was
Van
like,
Sant
I
be
can't
yelling at
forgive
me.
her.
You will
She's
not
like, you're
give
not
up.
on my.
So in my mind, all these people
Haters!
are my
You
mother
let
figures.
haters
Okay.
come in for your friendship. I'm sorry. I'm just quoting all of y'all, but
Oh my gosh.
not on my
Yeah.
watch.
So these are all my mother figures in my mind. Okay. And they will get me right.
Yeah.
So
Aw, good. Thank
yeah.
you for that. That's I can take that, put that in my tool belt. Boop boop. I forgive
Yes.
myself. I forgive myself, and just have that
Yeah.
conversation with my ego, with my, and have that be in the room with God, and have a three-way
For
with my ego,
everything
myself.
too. Forgive
Mhm.
yourself for everything, Kelly. Everything. Like forgive yourself for every. You see how your eyes got big? Yes. Forgive yourself for everything, Kelly. For everything.
She's human. She's
You
human.
gotta put that everything word in there, girl. That's what shocked the ego real quick. When you be like, everything? Everything? I don't think no, everything. Forgive her for
Oh,
everything.
ooh,
So
yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Maya Angelou, some Mother Maya, and some Iyanla just to spice it up, because she gonna Maya gives you like the
y'all
little
know,
angel. It's like good cop, bad cop.
right.
I'm gonna snatch you together.
Exactly.
Oh, I need to fix my life. I misfix my life. That's some good so okay. Like, ooh.
That R spot is not the
Mm,
same. I'm
oh,
sorry. She better just come back with the
the
fixing
what?
her life and stop playing. She has an R spot thing, Kelly. She does like
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
lessons. Yeah, she does like some YouTube lessons and stuff, and it's not the
I
same.
need some people. Her making some faux breakfast. I'm just over here cooking my eggs. They talking. It's just I love that.
With the
I
tea
love
and
that.
everything. When she pours the tea for people, we're just gonna have a tea party. Okay, all right, oh yeah, okay.
Does your does your son know his mother was a gutter sniper? Oh yes, yellow. Okay, pride
Oh,
mother.
she
Listen, you
pushes
just
the
want to cry.
buttons. Oh, she
Yeah,
pushes the buttons.
yeah, that's good.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, oh yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Share with the people about your journey, what you have going on. I want to thank you for your time, and I've learned so much. Like I talked with you so many times. We talked. You was my bro dog this time. But and we talked about so many times about so many different things. But I've learned, I've learned so much from you. Like over the course of this conversation, and I appreciate it. And I have so many nuggets that I can take with me. Is there anything, any other nuggets, little golden nuggets that you want to drop? Like, so I can just be abundant, be even more abundant as your cup overflows. You want to drop some more
God.
nuggets on us? Anything you want to leave
So
us
this
with?
is the last thing I will say, especially
You done
about the
got, we have
fibroids.
a tag. It's a lifelong condition. What'd you say?
I said this is the last thing I'll say about it. And this has been oh no, the hair looking crazy, Kelly. Okay, let's get it together. Okay,
It
let's
look
get
good, girl. If I
it.
took this hat off, that's crazy.
Um,
But I love myself. We
right.
cute though.
So I don't remember if it was Marianne Williamson or who brought this to my attention, but there was a point where I started to have so much negative energy with the fibroids. Um, like even the word
Mm.
would kind of just bring about this negative frustration. Um, and this may not be for everyone, but it was for me. There was a point where I just had to start calling them flowers. Like these are my flowers, these are my fibroid flowers. I had to change the narrative a little bit so that it wasn't so heavy for me because it can be a very heavy topic. It can be a very frustrating issue to go through. So I encourage anyone who's going through this to do whatever you need to do. Call it whatever you need to call it. Call it flowers. Call it, flutters. Call it um, um, your favorite thing about your body. I don't know. But somehow, if you can lift the energy of frustration out of that area of your body, I think it can do a lot more healing than anything else. because that's definitely not the place you want to be carrying frustration or heaviness, because it will show up even more there, unfortunately.
It's the core. It's the core. It's so interesting because it's the core of our body. It's the center of our body. The
Right.
fact that it's there, yeah. Thank you. Another
Right.
even overflowing. Like what type of nugget was that? Golden, like more golden nuggets that you keep giving us. Thank
This is
you.
my journey. This is what I had to go through, Kelly. Okay. The journey. I literally had to go through it to tell it to you today. So it's a price that I will pay gladly if it means that other people don't have to suffer as much. So thank you for hosting this type of event where people can say this and maybe help someone else. Like, you really, I think you are being a great sister's keeper here by doing this. So thank you for letting me tell my story, get it off my chest, kind of explain it. I told my husband, I was like, I think I'm gonna cry, and I did it. So I'm glad I didn't cry, Kelly.
You're growing through it. You have such purpose with your story. We thank you and we honor you. And thank you. You've just been such an amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. It's helped me over the years. And I'm sure whoever sees this, it will help them if they're going through it. And hopefully hopefully this video finds whoever it needs to find. And because I learned a lot, and I'm sure whoever's seeing this video has learned so much. There's so much to gain from you. And so thank you for being my sister's, your sister's keeper. We really truly honor you for who you are. You're such a beautiful person. You're such a beautiful friend. I thank you. Anytime Ingrid is that girl. She's that friend. Like, she will celebrate you, salute you. She will be there for you. And I will hope to honor you in that way and celebrate you and know that you are celebrated and you're such a beautiful friend. And I appreciate you in my life.
Thank you,
So
Kelly. Thank you.
thank you.
I'm hoping you invite me back
Thank you. I'm
after
excited
this
for all
blows up. Don't try to forget about me, Kelly.
Oh, you want to come back?
I'm coming back. Yes.
I would love
Anything
to
you
have
want
you
to talk
back.
about, I am here
Oh my
for it,
gosh.
Kelly. I told you I'm trying to be a co-host up in here.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Join the team. Will you join the team?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so
I'm
fun.
here.
Because oh my
I'm
God,
here to be the
Ingrid is my
audience.
friend. Because we could recreate our day. The last day that we spent. Was that the last day? No, the concert was the last day. But the day before, when we had your pool day, your pool spa day, that was like the joy of my life. We could recreate that on an internet experience like that, where we have just pulling out oracle cards and just like journaling and just reading great things. She's Ingrid is that person. I'm down. That is like, it was just a beautiful self-care.
Don't let me, I will hook it. I'll get my flowers back here, my lights. I'll get all the cards. I'm here for it, Kelly. I'm here for it. You tell me when.
Yeah. That'd be exciting.